Hey everybody, welcome back. This is a story I've been wanting to tell you since at least April, and the reason that I have not told it is because an integral piece to this video and to my story is a song. Now you might be asking yourself, now what does this song have to do with it? Everything. So a little bit of a backstory. The reason that this song became a thing is because of a lover spat between myself and my at the time boyfriend. Now, the year was about 1995, and I was dating somebody who shall remain nameless. And it's funny that he shall remain nameless because I'm about to show you a picture of he and I together. So this photo was taken in 1995, and as you can see, I had this god-awful affliction by smiling like the Joker. And it was something that I had to, over the years, learn to control, because if not in check, you could see straight to the back of my mouth when I smiled, and I was all teeth. This photo was taken at Rob Galgano's party. Now, who is Rob Galgano? Rob Galgano is the drummer of a band called NCC. Now, depending on how old you are, some of you may have heard of NCC, some might not have. But NCC was an industrial band composed of Jay Slack, Dave Drumula, and Rob Galgano. And they were part of our crew, and we lovingly refer to ourselves as the crew. And we were a large group of friends that basically did everything together. We had parties, we went to clubs together, we went to shows together, and we always had a blast. And speaking of the crew, whether we're at a party at somebody's house, dancing in their basement, or at a club, here's a little bit of a visual aid to give you an idea of who you're hearing about. So the reason I keep mentioning Rob is because he saved the day. As a self-proclaimed data hoarder, he didn't have the song because I think it was recorded and then somehow lost. But he did happen to find 2 old demos of NCC and the samples from the song that will definitely serve their purpose. Now, in true industrial fashion, these samples are very distorted, so I'll have to use some subtitles to show you, but you'll definitely be able to hear what they're saying. So off to the drama now, shall we? Now, myself and my at the time boyfriend, as I said, we had a very tempestuous relationship, and by tempestuous, we fought incessantly. So he had an issue with running away from home. He would get in trouble, or he would just get into fights with his family, and he would run out the door, and he'd run up to the nearest gas station on the corner, and he would call me from the payphone collect. And unfortunately, when I would take the call, he was still in a pretty bad mood, and rather than being able to calm him down or provide some sort of solace, he would just sort of continue the fight with me. And I'm not going to repeat what was said, but would say some pretty nasty things. And finally, I had just had enough and got super fucking vindictive. So depending on who you are, some may see me as a bitch, some of you may see me as a hero. I'm curious to know in the comments, but go gentle. I was only 16 years old. Now, our answering machines back in the day used to have a button you can press that you could record with absolute clarity the entire conversation onto an itty bitty little tape. So he had this tendency to trash talk people behind their backs when he was angry. Now, mind you, this is kid stuff. These are things that we did as youngsters. Obviously, he's grown up, he has a family, he doesn't behave this way anymore, but as a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old, actually, he was younger than me, so he was 15, this is not unexpected behavior. And to me, privately, he had said a lot of nasty things about NCC. So, in his mood, after he had said some choice phrases to me that were particularly upsetting, I was pissed. So I baited him into talking shit about NCC by saying one simple sentence. So did you hear NCC's new song? I really liked it. Record. And the onslaught began. And this is me. Click. And then after I hung up, I called Jay Slack immediately and said, I have something to show you. And I played him the tape. He was over at my house in less than an hour with Dave Drumula, and they took the tape with them. And as they're leaving, I'm like, but my parents are going to kill me. How are we going to get messages? They said, don't worry. We will have this back to you in a few hours. Which they did. And in those few hours, I had time to sit and stew on what I had done and really begin to regret my decision. We are the sum total of every choice that we have ever made. And I will definitely say that this has taught me a little bit of humility, and I will think twice before doing something to that degree again. But at the time, I hadn't learned that just yet. This is where I started to learn it. The following weekend was our friend Jennifer's Sweet 16, which she was having in her backyard. And usually when we had big events like that, NCC would play. And they had a brand new song to debut. It was called Why Do I Lie, featuring the samples from the conversation between my ex and I. Fuck. So here's the funny part about that. I didn't even know about the song's existence, let alone the fact that they had planned to perform the song in front of all of our friends, as well as my at the time boyfriend, until that night. So I'm taken to the furthest corner of the yard, inconspicuously by Jay and Dave, and they tell me that they need to speak to me. Right away, my heart is in my throat. I'm like, oh, fuck, what? So they say, hey, Angela, remember that tape that you gave us? And I'm like, I knew where it was going too. I just needed to hear them say it so that, my head could explode. They said, so yeah, we made it into a song and we're going to perform it tonight in about, 20 minutes. And 20 minutes is about as long as I had to prepare myself to accept the consequences of my actions. 20 minutes is not long enough. Not when you're 16. 20 years isn't long enough when you're 16 because you are a big ball of raging emotions and hormones and, everything is serious. And this was kind of serious. They go on and, of course, they open with that song. And a little bit of a backstory. As a crew, we were sort of the hype crew for NCC. And NCC performed a lot. And what we would do was we would be right up front at every show and we would immediately all start dancing the second that they would start performing, really to just get everybody else going and to show support. So tonight, even though it was a party amongst friends, everybody's dancing as the band begins, including my at the time boyfriend. And as they open with the song, I've never heard it before. I don't know when the samples are going to start, but I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting to hear his voice. And everybody is looking from him to me, from him to me. And I'm praying that he doesn't notice. And then here it comes.
No originality. No originality. No originality. And they run everything through their fucking computer.
No originality. No originality. No originality. And it just keeps playing it. And everyone is looking. Now they're really looking from me to him, from me to him. And I'm like, you sons of bitches, stop it. He doesn't notice. Just let it go. Pretend nothing is happening. He clearly doesn't notice because he's still dancing along. And then he begins to hear his own voice. Then I'm gone. I go into the house and I go in an upstairs bathroom and I lay down in the bathtub for a while. So I was never one to want to miss out on fun, ever. And I'm laying here in this bathtub knowing that fun is happening outside and I'm here in a dark bathroom laying in the bathtub. So I'm telling myself over and over, you need to go and face what you've created. So finally, I get myself outside and I'm happy to find my at the time boyfriend is in good spirits. He's laughing with Jay and Dave and he's seemingly taking it on the chin. Secretly, obviously, he wants to kill me because he told me that he wanted to kill me for that, but rightfully so. And from that point on, it's been archived in everybody's mind as the infamous incident. And it's something that every now and again, one of us likes to bring up and laugh about because it was really a funny story. I hope you have enjoyed. And until next time, bye.